Welcome everyone to the AENpodcast, and today I'm going to be the host. My name is Elise Hirwa, and I'm Rwandan, a member of the African Evidence Youth League, and we have an amazing guest. Introductions.
Thank you for having me, Elise. My name is Kirchuffs Atengble, and I'm with Pax Africa, leading research and outreach efforts in the. I'm Ghanaian, a member of the Africa Evidence Network.
All right, nice to have you here today. Before we dive into the conversation, we are starting with an icebreaker.
Okay.
And it goes like this. So it's 2 truths, 1 lie. You're going to have to tell me 3 statements, and then I'll try to figure out which one is a lie.
Okay. So I start?
Yeah?
Okay. So first one, I had lunch this afternoon. I have a twin brother. And then brown is my favorite color.
Hey, these are hard. You had lunch.
Yeah.
You look like you had lunch. So that one must be true.
Okay.
I don't see brown. Twin. You don't have a twin brother.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the lie.
Okay. But that's a lie? Yes.
Which one is a lie? Is it that one?
So it's true that I don't have a twin brother. Brown is actually my favorite color.
I was scanning and trying. Your watch, maybe. Your watch is brown. Okay. So I guess, thank you so much for that. I guess we can dive into the conversation.
Yeah.
So what inspired you and your interest to EIDM? All
right, thank you. So my interests, it was just coincidental that after my undergraduate studies, I just got into research because I had my interests for research right from undergraduate days, helping professors, here and there. So I actually served in the department that I graduated from as a teaching assistant for my national service. And afterwards, I offered myself to do some voluntary work with a research institution just to hone my research skills. So for me, it was just natural that I got in here. But I developed strong interest and passion for this because of the first major project that I got into, which was DFID funded at the time called Vakaiko. It was part of a program they called BCure. And after that program came to an end, funding actually was finished for it, and I had personally invested myself in this whole process, building networks, developing capacities across and all that. So I kept wondering, so what am I going to do with all these competencies that I had personally developed? So that got me thinking, because naturally I could just have gone sought another job with another organization, but I felt that there was a risk of diverting. But this is something that I had developed personal love for the work that I was doing. So it informed me starting an organization to continue that kind of work that we're doing. And that is how far we have come.
Okay. So what has kept you in the space? And as you're answering that, what was your aha moment?
Aha moments.
Yeah, like that time you're like, yes.
Yeah, so what has kept me in this space, I think it's linked to the passion that led me to start the organization itself. So at the start, and I think everybody can attest that starting an organization is not an easy thing, especially as a young person, because I started PAX when I was 29 years. And it was very tough, but we had to keep going, doing things here and there. Fortunately, I had a good number of people to rely on to complement what we were trying to put together and all that. So I think that's just how things have gone. And the aha moment, I'm wondering, maybe that happened much earlier. When I was on the BQ Vakaiko project, that this is what I actually wanted to do.
So, in your view, what essential skills should someone develop to succeed in the EIDM?
So
I like that you spent a lot of time there.
This is the area that I'm very passionate about because I think the space at the moment is quite open that anybody, the way EIDM is practiced, anybody can get up and say, yes, I am also an EIDM person. But I wish we could get to that point where people could be certified, some sort of certification program. And this is something, so I checked today, we started conceptualizing something like that right from, I think the last time we worked on that was in 2022. And kind of trying to innovate around certification programs, just like accountants would, for instance, talk about the ACCT, and other professionals, medical professionals will all talk about, some certification programs, but we don't have any within our space. So any entrance, once they secure some funding, can, start doing something in that area. But I wish we could introduce some professional development programs that could certify people as we go along, looking at beginner level, intermediate level, advanced level. And these are things that we had sort of gone detail into. We were just left with the mechanisms and the funding possibly to kick them started. But it's very necessary that we look at better coordinating the space.
Yeah, I like that you actually brought that up, which takes me to my next question. What do you think are opportunities for career growth and advancement within the field?
Yeah, career growth. So still linked to this very issue of certification, I think we need to invest in ourselves. Invest in ourselves as professionals. So when you look at the professional program, professionalization or professional certification program that we're developing, personally, I would not have described myself as an expert, despite the period I've spent in this space and all that. The program, what we're developing, for instance, would have required that I do a lot more for the growth of the field, including things like patenting of certain things that we may have innovated around. Then we can talk of someone being an expert. So there's room actually for growth. Otherwise, we become complacent and we are, carried around as, I'm expert and I'm EIDM expert, when we actually haven't contributed much to the growth of the field.
So there are opportunities.
There are.
So what advice would you give to someone who wants to pursue EIDM as a career? And can you separate adults and young people?
So I don't think age is necessarily a factor for professionalization within this space. So young people can become experts if they commit themselves to it. Likewise, older folks who have been doing related works could look at how they can strengthen their own competencies within their chosen domain within the ecosystem, because the ecosystem is very wide, it's diverse, and all sort of differences within. But depending on where any of us would be working from, the perspective we would be coming from, we need to seek opportunities to enhance our impact, not just the competencies that we develop, but how we transform these competencies into impacts for the ecosystem.
Okay. So.
And the impacts also include evidence use, right?
It's true, So looking in the future, how do you see the EIDM?
So in the future, I think the future is just bright. The future is bright in that for EIDM, we are looking at the use of knowledge, basically. And with all the things that we are doing as an ecosystem, including the conference that we just had, we are thinking through opportunities to grow, right? And the consequence of that would be improved evidence use. Once we are able to implement some of these innovations that we are picking up in these discussions, impact is inevitable.
Yeah.
And impact would mean improvements in people's lives and livelihoods.
Yeah.
And once we are able to get to this point, this is something that I see as getting much closer and closer to, which will benefit our own selves and then our people, our communities that we work in. So that's one of it. And then I think we are also getting to the point where, our own processes, we're going to innovate around them, do things better. There are more technologies coming up, artificial intelligence actually being a major driver these days, that we'll need to look at how to adapt these technologies to our field and get us better in our work. And these are the areas that I see as, getting into, growing further into. And then for young people, I see young people as the future of EIDM. That many more young people need to get into this space, because EIDM is basically about them. It's for them. Yeah. It is, because we have a very youthful population in Africa here. And the more people we get into this space, because EIDM is, sometimes I imagine it and I see EIDM as everything we do.
Yeah.
It cuts across sectors. It cuts across, it gets into business, right? Innovators, they are all in there. When we talk of science, technology, and innovations, we're basically looking at knowledge, resources being made use of. And still, there's that parallel with EIDM. So all of these things, I think there is a brighter future in terms of the positioning of young people to contribute to and to benefit from the space, the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think, that's very promising, especially as a young person in the EIDM space, and also others who are also listening to you right now, and it's very inspiring. Any final remarks as we move towards the end?
So I think final remarks, I would want to encourage anybody who is in the space. Let's not behave like our older folks within the continent, who try to personalize things. Let's put in the best we can for growth of our ecosystem, for improvements in our communities where we live, reflecting in our countries. Let's take every opportunity that comes to us, especially as young people, to improve on our own selves and then our impacts to our communities. And the benefits will come in multiple folds. And personally, I see the benefits more in satisfaction, to see that people's lives are improved.
So I guess if I was to summarize this podcast, I would say commitment, innovation, / technology, and growth.
Certainly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kirchuffs.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Elise.
everyone, for listening to us, and see you in the next session of the podcast.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.